One in combination with Zwei. Just Longs. Frag adjustment to James. Massive from Long. Makes it a reality. Outstanding in the clutch. Don't give up.
Longs is hearing all of this.
Ready for that way, yeah. All three of them. Bomb drop.
All right, commitment into the B site. Attempt at least some jukes. He's going to be stopped. lauNX, okay. A flurry of frags inside the middle. That's three quick ones, and Demon also getting involved elsewhere on the map. So it's just Ryu left alone now, and he's going to fall to lauNX. So no noise, no screams. Just, all right, that was easy.
We're turning a new leaf, you know?
Yeah, Demon gets in a position. It's a little bit of an awkward spot for him there. The Tech-9's going to overrun him. Luckily, lauNX is just unbelievable, isn't he? There's a 3K out from short. Juke's just out to help him. And just the response. If you take one kill, there's like two other players filling that gap instantly here for FUT Esports. There's just no opportunity for G2 to get into this. 1v4 for a heavy guard. They're running at him. There's no mercy whatsoever. lauNX is just shitting on them. Like, it's just, there's no other way to put it. It's just ridiculous.
Hey guys, ever since FUT Esports signed the Ex-NaVi Junior core, everyone thought that it was going to be a story all about them. They have had a stable progress going from, you know, the tier 2-ish space to making their strikeouts at tier 1 events, and with the most recent couple of, you know, events that they've played, finishing relatively underwhelmingly at Blast Bounty, but still attending, doing very well at being borderline playoff at Krakow, and now also just barely missing playoffs at Cluj. It is very clear to see that they are on a massively upward scale trajectory, however you want to phrase it, whatever. But when they made this signing, everyone thought it was going to be about the youngsters, you know, about the Demon, Semtry, Droogs. It's Krebeni's also been showing some pretty great stuff, but at the end of the day, it's actually been mostly about lauNX. And it's a sight to see because lauNX is not someone who has just shown up out of nowhere. Anyone who's been watching Tier 1 Counterstrike for a while, or even Tier 2 Counterstrike, is familiar with his name and has seen him make a number of splashes in history. You know, he first notably came onto the map, I guess, with the Nexus team back in the day, but I first became aware of him during his time on Sprout, where he played alongside someone who he's now going head-to-head occasionally against on Astralis, who is Stare. He is then, after that, was picked up, most notably, I guess, by Falcons for their foray after they had the whole international stint, where they switched from that pure Kenny S lineup where they were trying to make the Paris Major, whatever you want to call it, and then it was him with a rather interesting, how shall you say, group of individuals on there, you know, him, MHL, Boros, Body, and NBK, which they also perennially not perennially, they didn't even exist that long. They underperformed to a pretty sizable extent for what people were thinking of them. Back then, you know, he was still this young, very cracked rifler that people were expecting to see truly step forward into the next tier of his career, but it just didn't happen. After going through his time in Falcons, he played about 20 maps for Bleed, which, you know, that's neither here nor there, before playing for Falcons for just a little bit longer, playing for Revenant for a considerable portion of time, and then playing for Nexus one last time, being a Romanian org, you know, that's how they go, or signing with FUT in August of last year. Now, this rebuild period that FUT has done with NaVi Junior, as I've said, has netted them a considerably respectable turnout of results, but lauNX has truly shined, as I showed somewhat in the intro, and that he is only 20 years old, but is a true sort of leader of men-esque rifler. He's not the in-game leader, but he's truly motivating these other young players, telling them to not give up, giving them inspiration, and being able to deliver X-Factor rounds in the heat of the moment when the team needs it. And that is something that cannot be understated. The man's 20 years old. We often talk about Frozen as the sort of, you know, Frozen, Brolin, Rops, these sort of quote-unquote young veterans, but lauNX is only 20 years old, and he's been doing this for upwards of 5 years now. He has a considerable amount of experience. He's still able to perform. Even in their losses, he is putting up reasonably respectable high numbers. And it is just a matter of time until the rest of the team catches up to him. because he is showing his floor, and these young guys, their cracks are showing. Calls are being made that are questionable, mistakes are being made in the mid-round, duels are being lost that really shouldn't at the most critical of moments. But those are not things that we condemn them for at this point in their career. These aren't guys that have played, you know, an entire year of true Tier 1 Counterstrike. They've been on the cusp of the last three playoffs, and it is only a true matter of time until we see them make that next step. And once they do, once lauNX becomes their floor, God help us all, right? Now, obviously, the elephant in the room is that these are ex-NaVi Junior players that he is doing this alongside. And NaVi, while still making their playoff runs here and there and actually making the last major playoffs that we had, has been struggling to get back to that world beater thing, that world beater level that we expect of NaVi. You know, NaVi is a household name for many esports fans and is one of, if not the greatest esports org in history. Hot take, not really, very cold take. But to see them sort of struggle and stick with this lineup that they've had since, you know, they won the major, gotta appreciate Blade giving the boys their time and having faith in them. But I do think a change is due, and the question now becomes, are they going to start plundering their former players in order to rebuild themselves? I think that that's not an unreasonable thing for them to do. You know, that's what happens when you're a org of this tier for FUT. You know, they're not going to exactly be able to pay all the biggest salaries in the world in order to keep their team and attract higher talent. This isn't a Mouse situation, which, you know, they're doing beyond the sum of their parts. So I would not be surprised to see if NaVi continues to struggle, we see them plunder the treasure chest at the end of this season, bring maybe Demon home, have him play alongside, you know, Mikaze, which would be rather interesting. But this isn't a NaVi video, it's just a reality we have to acknowledge. It's a Tier 1 circuit. FUT is a team punching above their weight class and showing the quality of each of these players. Most likely their bones shall be picked clean at some point in the future. Hopefully not the too near future, because I would love to see these guys develop. But lauNX has been showing that he is the best player in 2026 on this team. Both CT and T side, he is statistically the best player in the world. Some fun little maps for you on Mirage, where that's currently hit their best overall performing map. They play it quite a lot. And he is their best performing player. Dude is a menace on Catwalk on CT side, and he is just a menace wherever he happens to find himself on T side. He's able to line up considerable amount of triple kills, and I believe even against their game on their game against Mouse, if I'm remembering correctly, if I go all the way back to game against Mouse, just for double kills, which I get double kills are not the most flashy thing in the world all the time, but they are a foundation for how you can succeed. In a loss, brother had 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. He had like 12 double kills against Mouse alone in one series. Dude is putting up numbers, is a machine, is unbelievably sharp, and is doing a great job of reading all of his opponents as they come. As I've already stated, it's incredibly hype to see someone that, at least I personally, and I know many other people, had subconsciously written off within the Tier 1 of Counter-Strike. We thought that his time, he had had a couple of interesting chances, you know, being part of that early Falcons roster, which, you know, no one, even the organization, really had faith in, so that's not a fair barometer for what he's done. But I would not be surprised to see when this team gets picked apart, maybe lauNX goes somewhere. He's only 20 years old. He is a year younger than Molodoy, a year older than Donk. He is someone who is kind of, you know, and I'm not saying that he is on that level, but he is a, without a doubt, respectable, high-quality rifler that could easily go to another team and take a step up. Or who knows, maybe the core of this team gets bought out by someone. Who knows, 100 Thieves, look, their premiere didn't go too well. Low-hanging fruit, whatever. But that'll be it from me today, guys. If you want to see more charts and stuff, I'm currently getting off my butt to get back to those. I had a couple demos corrupt on me during that process, and I'm trying to fix that. Yada, yada, yada. I have been CJ. I hope you liked the intro. I worked on that forever ago and just felt like adding it. And I really enjoy the new style of video where I'm front-loading it with a lot more edits versus backloading it, and I think it has a much more positive reception. Please let me know down below what you think of the format. Let me know what you think of the videos. Let me know what you think of FUT Esports and lauNX. I have been CJ. Have a great rest of your day.